Okay, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Shaping EDU Winter Games on Smart Sister Cities. I'm Jen Greenberg, and thank you for joining us today. With that, let's get started. I'm excited to introduce our two fabulous presenters, April Cavaletto and Cora Stevens. April is a licensed Master of Social Work and the Youth and Education Program Coordinator for Phoenix Sister Cities. This is her third year with them, where she coordinates with their 10 sisters in all events and programs related to youth, teachers, and education. Cora is a senior studying nonprofit management and French at ASU and hopes to pursue a master's in international development in the fall. Last semester, she was the assistant to the vice president at Phoenix Sister Cities and will stay on this spring as the Smart Cities project coordinator. All right, so with that, please join me in welcoming both April and Cora to our Shaping EDU Winter Games.
Thank you so much. We are so excited to be here today and talking about the role of sister cities in Smart City Initiative. I'll give you a brief overview of what we're going to be talking about today. So first, I'm going to introduce what sister cities are, as well as what Phoenix Sister Cities is and what we are doing. Cora is then going to talk about some of our sister cities and the SMART initiatives that they are working on. And we'll also talk about the initiatives that Phoenix Sister Cities is working on in conjunction with the city of Phoenix, including an app that we are developing to be able to connect cities around the world on the initiatives that they're working on. So first, I will talk about what sister cities are. So the Sister Cities movement was founded by President Eisenhower in 1956. So after World War II, he saw the conflict that was going on in the world and wanted to be able to create relationships between people. So the goal is to create person-to-person relationships between residents of the city. So it's not necessarily, the goal isn't to build relationships between countries or between cities themselves, but rather the citizens of those cities, so that we can develop a better understanding of one another and have these relationships with each other. And in order to do this, sister cities engage in municipal, business, educational, and cultural exchanges and projects, though really every sister city program is unique. And the way that they connect with their sister cities is entirely unique and different depending on what their program looks like and their needs of their program. So Phoenix Sister Cities was established in 1972. We are actually about to celebrate our 50th anniversary next year. And Phoenix Sister Cities is a private-public partnership with the city of Phoenix. What that means is that we receive support from the city of Phoenix, but we are our own nonprofit. So we have a board of directors, and most of the work being done by Phoenix Sister Cities is done by volunteers. So the reason that sister cities are important in smart cities is that they provide a means for cross-cultural communication, education, and support regarding these initiatives. So smart cities, it creates maximum opportunities for this exchange of data among peers, and these sister cities organizations create a peer group for these exchanges. So it's a natural connection for us to start talking about our smart city initiatives and to be able to share the knowledge that we have. So first, you can meet our sister cities. So we currently have 10 sister cities around the world. These are in North America, Europe, and Asia right now, but we are looking to add more sister cities in the upcoming years. So we are currently in talks with Suwon, South Korea to start a sister cities relationship, and hopefully that will be finalized in the next year or two. And then we are also looking to add sisters in Africa, India, and South America. So we are really aiming to add more sisters south of the equator. But for now, these are our 10 sister cities. Each sister city has what we call a sister city committee, and their goal is to promote the relationships between Phoenix and these cities, as well as to promote the culture of these cities as well. And so these committees are entirely volunteer-based, and they work with us to achieve these goals. So while we're here, and we're going to start transitioning into what smart cities are, so we have a poll for you. So if we can get the poll up, we just want to ask, which of these 10 sister cities do you believe is the smartest? So just take a second to answer that question. Okay, there are quite a few different answers, but it looks like Taipei, Chengdu, and Calgary are winning right now. So I'm going to pass things off to Cora, who is going to talk about our sister cities and what they're working on in relations to smart cities, and also talking about what smart cities are as a whole. So she's going to go ahead and answer this question of which of our sister cities are the smartest.
Thank you, April, for that great presentation on what Phoenix Sister Cities is. So transitioning, I just kind of want to talk about what is smart cities and kind of how does that, like, what's the importance of it? Why is it something that people are spending money and time developing? So first off, the purpose of the Smart Cities mission is to drive economic growth and improve the quality of life of people by enabling local area development and harnessing technology, especially technology that leads to smart outcomes. So that is area-based development that will transform existing areas. So retrofit and redevelop. This includes slums and better creating an urban center of the future. And this incorporates the 3Ds, that is data, digital, and design, to create a more intelligent, connected ecosystem. And so you look within the sister city network, we already have 10 cities, and that they're responsible for the municipal components, and that creates the potential for 500 plus collaborations. Just in 2020, there's been a projected spending of $124 billion, and that's 29% of the global spending. So that just gives you a snapshot of how important this is, and even looking into the new administration, it's becoming a huge priority for them as well. And you ask, why does this matter? And it's a great opportunity for economic growth. And frankly, if there are economic advances that degrade the air, water, and soil, how is that real progress? It's one of the things that they talk about within smart cities. So there's also this environmental sustainable component that's hoping to then address the way that things are developed in a more sustainably minded arena. It encompasses many technical fields, including physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, computing science, systems, and mechanical elements. And so within that, even there are different levels. There's a smart city 1.0 and a smart city 2.0. We're kind of moving into the smart city 2.0, and that is creating an alliance between universities, government, business associations, and the private sector to address the three goals, and that is better quality of life for residents and visitors, economic competitiveness to attract industry and talent, and environmentally conscious focus on sustainability that I was talking about earlier. So going further into the role of city government within this smart city framework, you can see that they are going to be strategists and advocates. So that's setting a clear direction for the city. What is the vision and ambition as a smart city? How do we want to realize this? Furthermore, being an active advocate of the city as an innovative hub for new business. The director and regulator, so that is creating or changing laws and regulations to allow new business models and disruptive entries, and simultaneously protect the interests of citizens and users of the city itself. The third one is connector and protector, so that's securing the modern transportation infrastructures, energy grids, and digital networks, and setting standards and taking measures to make these vital infrastructures resilient and safe. Then there's the innovator and investor, and applying the principles of innovation, which ASU knows very well, and the internal organization and processes, and then stimulating innovative solutions by acting as a launching investment pad. Steward, so it's creating an environment in which new businesses and smart solutions can emerge and grow. Just even having this conference is a great example of enabling businesses and different entities to come together to discuss various components of smart cities. For example, even providing open data coding projects, or facilitating other startups. Also then the last one is solution enabler. So by building ecosystems with several different parties that normally do not work together, it can deliver creative new solutions that neither of the parties would have realized on their own. So that's kind of a big part of this, is you're connecting all of these different resources within the city. So democratizing development, and that's kind of one of the big components of smart cities. And that's an important thing to remember as we move forward, is this is about the community coming together to create better urban centers, better cities for everyone. And so you can see even from this framework, all the different components, how there are the goals that I discussed earlier, and then even the constituents are going to be very broad, and they're focused on engagement, collaboration, transparency, and inclusion. And so also I wanted to address that question asking, what is the most smart city? And it's hard to gauge, as it's hard to say that one is more smart than another, because each one has different needs of their citizens. Although if we were going to choose one, it would be Taipei, by the amount of work that they've done and education for, like, through the city and conferences that they've put on promoting what smart cities is. So I just wanted to go further into what are smart city initiatives. And this can be, again, it's very broad scope. So it can be over transportation, healthcare delivery, housing, payment, utilities, and provision and monitoring, inspection of infrastructure, emergency preparedness, parks, airports, or public spaces. So again, this is a broad spectrum. There's even more than this. These 8 elements were ones that we asked on a survey that were sent to our 10 sister cities to address the progress they have made on their specific initiatives. And we also are working then to create a partnership with our sisters depending on where they're at in their own smart city initiatives. So from that survey, we got some really interesting results, and I just wanted to share a few. Today I'll be talking about Calgary, Canada, Chengdu, China, and Prague, Czech Republic. So to start out, Chengdu, China, I just wanted to give a little bit of facts about it so you can understand the cities themselves as well. So it's the capital of China's Sichuan province, and it is one of the 3 most populous cities in the western area of the country, located in central Sichuan, Chengdu.
Cora, I believe you got muted.
Thank you. They established their sister city relationship in 1987. So Chengdu is definitely very advanced within what they're working on, and I just kind of want to share 2 of those projects. One that was established in 2017 is this unified public service cloud. So this is an example of using things that already exist, but creating a better solution for it. So that's channeling all this information and putting the city departments on one cloud, and that totals 1,108 application systems. So that just shows how it's just creating that synthesis of information is going to enable more cross-cultural communication, or cross-departmental communication, and also reduce financial expenditures by 100 million RMB every year. Another one that's really big is their e-governance center. So that's the city brain. And the purpose of this is to monitor, comprehensively and analyze and predict city operation risks. So they settle things and manage city operations and respond to social demands in just one network. And it contains information systems, again, of a lot of those initiatives I was talking about, but within this city brain, it's one area and it's a very smart system. And it was established in 2018. So these things are also very new. And as we progresses in the next 5 years, we're going to see so much growth globally within the smart cities projects that are being done. I also just wanted to showcase one of the questions that we did ask on that survey was kind of getting an idea of the chain of command and what is the government structure and who's responsible for these smart cities projects, and also then the governance itself. So I just want to showcase that, and the PowerPoint will be uploaded and you can go check out the website. I definitely recommend. There's lots of really great information and you can kind of see firsthand what they're working on. And then here's kind of just a snapshot of how they measure the success. And this varies, again, based off the city and what their specific objectives are. Of course, you're going to see a lot of similarities because there are crossovers in the urban needs, but depending on the cultural and the population size, that's going to change. And so I just wanted to show that. And again, the investment of money, it's only going to be increasing in the next decade. So even if this is something that interests you, there will be more funding available to do research, to be a part of the engineering side, or even the mathematical, the biological, environmental. There's so many components that go into developing a smart city. Okay, so next I wanted to talk about Calgary, Canada. Okay, so Calgary is the largest city in the province of Alberta, and it's the third largest the third largest in Canada. And Calgary's metropolitan population is estimated at 1.56 million people. And the city is located in the South Grasslands, you can see on the map, region of Alberta, and they have approximately 50 miles of Rockies, and they assigned their agreement with Phoenix Sister Cities in 1997. And it's nicknamed the Cow Town because of the rich cattle. So again, that shows kind of their needs are going to be different than Phoenix, and they also are very rich in oil. And so that changes also the industry needs in the city. One of their big projects is this dark fiber access. And it's really interesting because it's something that it's a network basically that creates open access, and they have over 400 kms of fiber reaching all quadrants of the city, and the capacity are virtually unlimited. And this is something that is unique to Calgary and being spread to more areas. But their support is available 24/7, and that's something they really pride themselves on, is being able to provide this new concept that is going to improve the city. So another one of their big things is this traffic management center, and transportation is huge in the ability to operate efficiently in a city. And so again, all these things are hyperlinked, so I definitely recommend going back through and taking a deeper look at them. But just here you can see how much it improves when it comes to monitoring cameras, the construction component, being able to access emergency resources, and also just making sure that roads are properly signed. One of the big things is the traffic cameras. There we go. Okay, so, and it allows you to find your route of interest on either location listing below on the map on the website, so you can find exactly what you're looking for. Okay, so the last one that I'm going to be talking about today is Prague, and Prague is located in Czech Republic, and it has a population of more than 1.4 million people. It is actually the 5th most visited European city, and Prague established their sister city connection with Phoenix in 2013. So it flourished during the 14th century and in the reign of Charles V. And it's one of the jewels of Europe. So it's renowned for its beauty and elegant architecture. And it's also a strategic economic center in the heart of Central and Eastern Europe. So it has an extensive and inexpensive public transportation system that's provided by buses, trams, and the subway. So it's interesting the way that Prague organizes their smart cities projects, because they actually have a separate company that is owned by the state that's created this pipeline. So it's a project management policy that helps guides the ideas to fruition. But right now they're working on 60 projects total. There are several that are brand new, but they have over 120 employees that are tackling all their different projects. And they also have outside stakeholders that are assisting with the projects. They've divided their projects into 5 areas. So it's mobility, smart buildings, waste-free city, people in the urban environment, and tourism. And then they also have a flagship project for their 6th area in data platform. Another one of their main projects is analyzing traffic and the environment and creating a regional transportation ticketing system and energy and monitoring energy savings. All right, so now I'm going to pass it over to April so she can, talk a little bit more about how Phoenix Sister Cities is connected within the Smart Cities movement.
Yes, so you just heard about some of our sister cities and what smart initiatives they have. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about what Phoenix Sister Cities is doing in our smart initiatives. So first, I'm going to talk about our Business Relations Committee. So like I mentioned before, all 10 of our sister cities have a committee, but we also have some other special committees. So we have a Disability Awareness Committee and we have this Business Relations Committee. So the goal of the Business Relations Committee is to develop, grow, and maintain relationships between businesses in Phoenix and businesses in our 10 international sister cities. This committee was reestablished last year. Cora, can you go back a slide?
Oh, sorry.
You're okay. So it was reestablished last year, and when it was reestablished, they outlined goals that they wanted to work on and areas of focus that they wanted to focus on. So one of the main ones is smart cities, and they are really working on developing Phoenix as a smart city and working on smart city initiatives. Some of the other things that they're working on is destination medicine, a trilateral trade conference, and business-to-business virtual exchanges. The next thing I'm going to talk about is delegations. So Phoenix Sister Cities throughout the year host both inbound and outbound delegations. In a normal year, we typically do at least one outbound delegation to one of our sister cities. This is usually to celebrate the relationship, often happens on anniversary years. So for celebrating, for example, the 20th anniversary of our relationship, we'll usually go to that city. But this is also an opportunity for us to better understand our sisters and to be able to learn from them. So for example, in 2019, we had a delegation to Taipei, Taiwan, and a large focus of this delegation was smart initiatives. So for example, they visited elementary schools and explored STEAM within these elementary schools. So they both looked at what students were doing in relation to STEAM, but then also how technology was being implemented in their classrooms to better the education process. While in Taipei, they also looked at other smart initiatives. They visited the Emergency Operations Center of Taipei City. They toured smart cities housing projects and spent a lot of time focusing on what Taipei was doing in relation to smart initiatives. After that delegation, it inspired an inbound delegation that happened in early 2020 from Taipei, Taiwan, where a Taipei City Councilor met with Phoenix City Council members, city staff, and Maricopa County health staff to discuss the coronavirus pandemic. So because we had this relationship, we were able to discuss best practices for the pandemic and how we can best address our needs. And because we had this network of sister cities, we could collaborate with one another and support one another through the pandemic. Next, we have our Sister Schools STEAM initiative. So this is a pilot program that we started a couple years ago and have been trying to get off the ground. So what this does is it pairs elementary schools here in Phoenix with elementary schools in Taipei, Taiwan, and they work concurrently on STEAM-based projects. And so what that means is that they usually are working on one topic, both classrooms are. The last semester that we did this project, it was water conservation. And so the goal was that the students would be coming up with solutions to the problem. And so our students spent time researching water conservation, researching the issues surrounding it, and coming up with solutions. And at the end of the semester, they could share those solutions with one another. And so this was both able to teach these students about STEAM and allow them to have more hands-on work with STEAM, but also help them to learn about each other and each other's culture, and also realize that even though they're a world apart, they have some of the same problems in their cities that they're all trying to work. Next, I'm going to talk about Margaret T. Hance Park. So this is an initiative by the city of Phoenix, and they are planning to renovate Margaret T. Hance Park, which is downtown. This park has traditionally been an important cultural location for Phoenix. It hosts the main facility of Phoenix Public Library, the Irish Cultural Center is there, the Japanese Friendship Garden is there. It's a very important cultural location for Phoenix. And the goal is to turn this park into a smart park. And so when these planning stages were started, feedback was elicited from cities around the world to get ideas on the development of a smart park and what that would look like and what initiatives they could include in this park. And our connections with our sister cities were able to help facilitate that process and those discussions as well. So you can see here some of the smart initiatives that will be incorporated into the park. So for example, solar panels to help provide electricity, and then water harvesting for reuse among the park. And so those are some of the efforts that Phoenix Sister Cities has been involved in regarding smart initiatives. And Cora is going to talk about an app that her and the Business Relations Committee has been working on to further these initiatives.
All right, so this app is really important just in developing a network that can link the needs of urban centers to the resources from its sister cities network. So we like to call it the Coda solution to collaboration. And the purpose, and within this app, there's going to be an intuitive interface. So you can see on the left kind of what that would look like. This is just taking an example of one of the projects I spoke earlier about of that e-governance center, the City Brain with Chengdu China. So there'd be a brief description, easy to see, you know, the different components that it addresses. The app would be able to, if you're interested in learning more about an initiative, the city has the ability to upload multimedia and even potentially move into virtual reality as that becomes a possibility in the next year or two, and incorporating it within the application, you know, to create a more immersive experience. One of the other big parts of it is creating a very clear area to connect with the specific person that is either leading that project or overseeing it, or even the department itself. Because that's one thing that we're kind of missing right now is an easy channel of communication. And so again, this is going to help facilitate discussing and working across departments and professions. And again, bringing this huge network that already exists into the development of our cities. And so it's just rethinking relationships. And we're right now in the ideation and design phase. So there are components that we are still developing and thinking of the best way to create this communication portal, whether that is having a swiping mode or just an algorithm that kind of will channel through all the different information to give whoever's that will be catered to the user. But it will be fully editable and easy to update. That's one of the big things about this app, is we want to make it so cities want to use it and are able to easily input information. So the next phase, and we're trying to roll this out within the next year so it can be at a usable state by the actual cities themselves. So we will be looking into right now coding and having this an open source coding project within Swift. And then the next phase would be the testing and quality assurance. And then the last phase is debugging before we have a beta version out to our cities, and potentially even, depending on the success of the network between our own sister cities, we'd give this to Sister Cities International, which has over 1,500 different cities connected within it. And it can, again, it's going to be a huge project and a huge part of propelling this smart cities mission forward. And so with that, we're going to send you guys in, we're gonna do this activity. And I really want you guys to talk about how do we encourage collaboration across sectors and what is a smart city to you? So you're going to be put in those breakout sessions. And I really, if you are a student, please tell me please share with the group what you're studying. If you're a professor, what research you're participating in or what subjects you teach. And then if you're a member from our community, what company or organization you're here with. So.
Please spend about 5 minutes doing this, and then we'll come back together and answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thank you. And I hope that it was nice to kind of see who else was in the session and discuss your ideas. I just want to say thank you for participating. I'm going to leave my contact information up here. If you are interested in being involved in any of the 4 phases of the app, or that is like ideation design, if you have coding experience, or if you just would like to pass along information or share your insight, feel free to reach out, or anything about the session as well. If you want to become involved with Phoenix Sister Cities, also reach out. Thank you. And I just wanted to open it up for questions in our last 3 minutes.
How will you be building the app you referenced? Is that something you're doing internally, or you're looking for partners?
We are looking for partners currently, and part of it will be outsourced, and then part of it will be within the organization, and it will be on using Swift is currently right now what we're planning.
I am so excited to learn of the Hans Park renovation. Do you happen to have more information on the timing of the rollout or implementation? When are we going to be able to enjoy that?
Yeah, so I don't currently have the timing. I mean, like everything this year, timing got affected. So I don't currently have that answer, but I could look it up and send it to you.
Folks, if you're also unable to unmute right now, please feel free to post your questions in the chat. And if not now, we'll get back to you with answers. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. As Cora mentioned earlier, this content and all the live links will be posted and uploaded at a later date, conclusion of the Winter Games. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of us. So thank you again and enjoy the rest of Winter Games.